Right, I'm going to give this to you in a very surface level way, right? Because I am not a philosopher, I am not a theologian, I am none of these things, right? I just have a certain self-interest and accumulated information of my own, right? Let's look at morality, just on a surface level, right? You would say morality is a system of determining what is good and what is bad, right? Fair to say, right? Now, in philosophy, right, quote unquote, as a layman, right, the idea of what is good and what is bad is a lot more complex than just sorting things into a good box and a bad box, right? Every situation, every idea is nuanced, right? Nuanced. You need to understand the originality, like the origins of what you call good and bad now in this day and time comes from somewhere else, right? Like we always say, it's a baton and a brick laid on a brick, right? So the ideas of morality that you have should never have been a actual solidified unmovable object, right? It was always meant to be a sliding scale, right, of what benefits who at a certain time, right? It was never meant to be a fixed set of laws and statutes. That isn't the purpose of morality, right? Because morality in itself is subjective, right? And the scenarios or the causation of things, yeah, is subjective too, right? So the idea of good and bad is only good and bad to who perceives it, right? Who is benefiting and who is losing from this situation. That is the essentialness of what good and bad is, right? Because you don't find morality in nature, right? Morality is something man has come up with, right? Because it benefits the contract, the social unwritten contract between one another. And people break it and blur the lines of it all the time, right? Because it was never meant to be a real solid foundational construct of humanity, right? Because there's a saying that goes like this: what's good is what's good for me, right? So as someone that might be a theologian or a philosopher, they will have two different contrasting points of views on a subject, right? One might approach it from a this is good based on a God perspective, right? But a logical person would break it down and be like, okay, the idea of God is subjective anyway, right? So what you're perceiving as God is not the same thing he's perceiving as God or she's perceiving as God, right? Because it's all subjective. So for the theologians right and wrong and the philosophers right and wrong are going to be two different things, right? The philosopher is going to look at it more on a ripple effect. It's circumstantial evidence on the situation, right? What it affects, who it affects, when it affects, right? Not so much of this person said this in a book and now this is what it is, right? It's not that. So with my long diatribe on surface level talks, right? Surface level thought, the basis of what you need to take away from it is this: morality is just a concept, right? And you do not have to adhere to a strict one, and you do not even have to believe it exists in the first place, right? You make your own rules in reality, right? You form your own opinions. You make your own understandings of situations as best as you can, with the information available to you. Once you understand that, you can then start to go back and look at what you've been fed and what you've subconsciously been indoctrinated into, and see that these ideals, these moralities, these right and wrong situations don't not appeal to you. They don't matter to you, right? I can't find the right word for it. They're not applicable to you, right? These right and wrong situations, these indoctrinations of morality are not applicable to you, right? For a plethora of nuanced layers and levels, right? Just for a surface example, I'll give you like this, right? When slavery was happening, the idea that you could say that that person is 3/4 of a human being, right, or however much of a human being, based solely on their color, would not be considered moral today, right? But it was moral then, wasn't it, right? So understand that a lot of the things that are designed socially and ideology wise weren't even meant to be implemented by certain sets of people, by the people that created them, right? So understand that. If that same group of people could think like that then and think it's okay, what else are they thinking about now and think it's okay? Do you see what I'm saying? So morality and right and wrong is whatever you decide it to be, right? You cannot, like I've discussed before, you cannot be shamed, because shame is a tool that can only be used on the weak-minded, right? It can only be used on the uninformed, right? So like I said, all of this is very surface level because I don't have the vocabulary to delve into it properly yet, right? But if you understand what I'm saying without having to go down a Socratic line of reasoning with it, for a surface level, morality and right and wrong is subjective, right, to each individual. And you may subscribe to a guideline of what it is based on the group or ideology that you're attached to, right? But don't think that everybody is playing by the same rules as you, right? And don't for 1 second think the rules you're playing by are even designed to benefit you, right? So understand that.